I am Alvin Holloman, the Cornerstone Ceremony Co-Coordinator. I hope you enjoy this video and it gives you some insight into what it takes to prepare for a Cornerstone Ceremony. This video is not designed to tell you everything about the Cornerstone Ceremony, but to give you a general overview and a few tips to make it successful. This will be a quick overview of the Grand Lodge of Texas Cornerstone Ceremony and the responsibility of the local lodge in the preparation and hosting of the ceremony. Primarily, the Blue Lodge has two ceremonies that catch the public's eye: the Cornerstone Ceremony and the Masonic Funeral. A Cornerstone Leveling Ceremony is a Grand Lodge of Texas function that is hosted, sponsored, and coordinated by a lodge. It is not an individual lodge function. The Grand Lodge of Texas Cornerstone Ceremony can be found in the Lodge Procedures and Ceremonies section of the Monitor of the Lodge, page 90 through 92. Also, Article 178 of the Grand Lodge of Texas Law Book, page 70. Laying of cornerstones, monuments, plaques, and markers. The Grand Lodge of Texas will not officiate in the consecration, dedication, or laying the cornerstones, monuments, plaques, or markers of any building, unless it is of undoubted Masonic, public, or sacred character. If you don't have a copy of the Monitor and the Law Book, you should get one immediately. They are an essential tool for all District Deputy Grand Masters, Worshipful Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. Here you will find answers for many of your questions. You need both books. Don't wait until you're installed. Everyone should immediately familiarize themselves with this ceremony and its procedures. You need to be aware of the responsibility to assist both the local lodge and Grand Lodge in successfully conducting this type of an event. First and foremost, the minute the words Cornerstone Ceremony are spoken, the first thing on your list is to contact the Cornerstone Coordinator. The 2020 coordinator is Brother Mike Spears, and the co-coordinator is Brother Alvin Holloman. The Cornerstone Ceremony request should be made to the Cornerstone Coordinator. He begins the process. He contacts the Grand Master. He will send you guidelines and forms. He will send you information on the procedures for hosting a ceremony. Cornerstone Ceremony requests should be made about a year prior to the date of the ceremony. The sponsoring lodge is responsible for assisting with and helping coordinate all Cornerstone Ceremony requests. Lodges are responsible for the cost of the cornerstone if that cost is not covered by the building construction agreement. Lodges should coordinate with the architect on this item. The lodge should be sure to set a limit as to the amount they are able to contribute. There is specific wording required by the Grand Lodge for the text on the actual cornerstone. See Article 178, page 70 of the Grand Lodge of Texas Law Book. The Cornerstone Coordinator likes to say, "We're going to place a commemorative stone on the building, and the Grand Lodge of Texas will perform a cornerstone ceremony to officially dedicate the building." The process begins: get the lodge's approval, get the governing body, city council, school board, commissioners court, etc. to approve the ceremony. Get with the architect or general contractor to locate where the stone will be placed and what size it will be. This is the perfect opportunity to discuss the option of a time capsule being placed behind the stone. Get a timeline for the building's completion. Per Article 178, a cornerstone ceremony cannot be conducted after the building has been completed. However, if you have worked with the construction company and the architect, and they have left a hole in the building where the dedication commemorative stone is to be placed, then the building is in fact not complete. We have conducted cornerstone ceremonies after the buildings have received their certificates of occupancy, and in fact some have begun operation, since the building is not complete until the cornerstone is set in place. This makes it nice for ceremonies to be conducted inside the building for the hot summer and a warm building in the winter months. Lodges will also need to order the stone. A sample cornerstone may be used if the actual cornerstone is not available at the time the cornerstone ceremony is held. Set a date and time for the ceremony. A typical cornerstone process from the opening to closing of a representation will take approximately 2 to 4 hours. Most cornerstone ceremonies are scheduled at mid-morning or early afternoon. Set a timeline for the ceremony. Time to arrive at the lodge. Time for the host lodge to open a Master Mason's lodge and call to refreshment. It is not necessary to open a Master Mason's lodge and call to refreshment. The reason we do this is so that the host lodge will have a permanent record of this historical event. Time to open and call from labor for the purpose, a representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas. Time to travel to the location site. Time to conduct the ceremony. Time to return to the lodge and call the representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas to labor and close. Time to call the lodge to labor and close. Time of any meals or refreshments that might be served at the discretion of the host lodge. All cornerstone ceremonies require the opening of a representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas. See the Texas Monitor, page 90. If your lodge needs help with practicing and opening and closing a representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas, the DDGM and the Worshipful Master should notify the DI that you will need his assistance. You should plan on the possibility that the only Grand Lodge officer to come may be the Grand Master or his representative. The opening and closing of the representation of the Grand Lodge is conducted in the lodge room of the lodge sponsoring the Cornerstone Ceremony. A representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas is almost always conducted by the Grand Master or a past Grand Master. There are 17 stations and places to fill for the representation of the Grand Lodge. All 17 stations may be filled by past masters of a Texas lodge. However, if there are not enough past masters present, 3 of the places may be filled by Master Masons, the Grand Chaplain, Grand Musician, and the Grand Photographer. Only 7 of the officers have speaking parts in the opening and closing of a representation. They are the Grand Master or his representative, the Grand Senior Warden, Grand Junior Warden, Grand Junior Deacon, Grand Secretary, closing only, Grand Chaplain, Grand Tyler, opening only. The pro tem officers will be filled from the available district deputies and past masters present. The DDGM for the home district traditionally takes the deputy grand master's position for this ceremony when the deputy grand master is not present. The deputy grand master does not have a speaking part for the opening and closing of the representation. He does have a speaking part at the actual cornerstone ceremony. Every effort should be made to fill the stations and places with pro tem members, since everyone who participates in the representation and the ceremony will be listed in the Grand Master's report at the end of the year, and everyone will be listed in the Grand Lodge proceedings when it is published. After the representation, the Grand Lodge of Texas is called from labor for the purpose to refreshment. The Cornerstone team travels to the ceremony site. The Grand Secretary or Grand Secretary Pro Tem is responsible for completing the Grand Lodge of Texas representation minutes form and securing the signature of the Grand Master or his representative on that form. The Grand Marshal or Pro Tem Grand Marshal may assist in this process. The Cornerstone Ceremony has 7 speaking parts, and all parts can be read. This is normal for pro tem officers. The presiding officer usually brings a cornerstone kit. The kit includes corn, wine, and oil, and all the implements necessary to conduct the ceremony. The Grand Treasurer or Pro Tem will invite those present to deposit artifacts and mementos with him for placement within a time capsule. Not every ceremony has a time capsule. Items can include things such as Masonic coins, business cards, photos, etc. All participants should be dignified and remember that they are representing the Grand Lodge of Texas and Masonry in general in this public ceremony. A well-prepared District Deputy Grand Master is an important element in this process. All Masons attending will participate in the ceremony as they will provide the response, so mote it be, when appropriate. You might want to know where you can obtain a copy of the Cornerstone Ceremony. See the monitor of the Lodge, page 90. However, the Grand Master or past Grand Master will bring a script of the ceremony with them. There may be a few variances from the script in the monitor. List of items that may be needed for the ceremony. 1 8-foot folding table. A stand or rack strong enough to support the cornerstone. A roll of 2-inch tape. Quart-sized Ziploc bag to collect the corn, wine, and oil used in the ceremony. Usually the Grand Master has some of these items in his kit, but it's a good idea for the DDGM to always make sure these items are available. Frequently asked questions. Does the stone have to be placed in the northeast corner? The answer is no, unless it is a Masonic building such as a new lodge. Can a cornerstone ceremony be conducted on a Sunday? Yes, reference to Article 237, meeting on Sunday, religious in nature. Who pays for the cornerstone and how much does it cost? Is there a vendor list and a specified size? Lodges are responsible for the cost of the cornerstone if that cost is not covered by the building construction agreement. The cost averages from $350 to $400, but can be much higher. We do not have a vendor list. There is no required stone size. However, the stone should be of sufficient height, width, and thickness necessitated by the space allocated for the stone. Whose responsibility is it to see that the lodge is prepared and ready for a cornerstone ceremony? The DDGM of that district. Whose responsibility is it to make sure the paperwork is completed, minutes of the representation? The DDGM and Secretary of the host lodge. If the cornerstone ceremony is for a public school, why must the worshipful master personally contact the school principal? He must ascertain if it is permissible for the grand chaplain to open and conclude the ceremony with a prayer. In closing, it is the intent of this information to assist Texas Masons and Texas lodges in understanding the Masonic historical significance of cornerstone ceremonies. Encourage the Masons of your district to be ever alert for opportunities to level a cornerstone whenever possible. Anytime you have questions in reference to this ceremony, please feel free to contact the Cornerstone Coordinator. If you need information regarding the Cornerstone Ceremony, you should contact Brother Mike Spears, Cornerstone Coordinator, or Brother Alvin Holloman, Co-Coordinator. I enjoy working with and being a part of the Cornerstone Ceremony and hope that all of you will get out and attend a ceremony. You need to see how very important they are to our communities. Just get out and visit other lodges and see how active you can be. Thank you for your attention.